He's in right now. It's not helping.
Everybody is saying, look, okay. Everybody is saying he is in because they're like, this guy is magical and he's got a good projection for his career. Those numbers, Mark, you are not going to sit here and tell me one fucking season is going to get him the whole game.
How about now? You said it's helping his case. How about now, Doc? He said after 6 years, I guarantee he's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer today.
No.
Today.
No.
Yeah. Are you serious? He's a two-time MVP and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. Yes, he's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer. No. If Calvin Johnson did it after 10 seasons with a fucking top 25 statistical category, was a first ballot Hall of Famer, then Patrick Mahomes is a first ballot Hall of Famer. All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Chris Gemeinhart, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Welcome to All About the Balls podcast. This is our Super Bowl recap episode. I'm in a new sack house. I'm on a temporary vacation at the brother's house. Just got off a cruise, boys. Welcome to the show. Luke, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. Fun weekend. You know, just eating a shitload of food, drinking a lot last night. So, I mean, great way to spend your Sunday. Last Sunday of football for the year.
Damn right. Doc, how was the night for you last night? How was Super Bowl weekend?
Good, man. Good weekend. Relaxed. Kind of didn't really do nothing. You know, Cody and his old lady came over. We made some like appetizer shit, some wings and stuff, and you know, got out to the range today, so had a real good day today. Shot the new 1911 that I bought, so it was a good day today.
Heck yeah, and boys, and everyone else I listen out there, we have a new guest in the show tonight. We have a first-time guest because Jake and Alan, they officially became members of the Sackhouse family. We have a 49er faithful, Mr. Derek Jones. Jones, how are you feeling tonight out there, man? How are you feeling 1 day removed from Super Bowl 58?
I think we know the answer to that.
I felt good until about 9:48 p.m. Central Time, as I started receiving a lot of notifications. As when I was watching at my parents' house, we were about 2 or 3 plays behind, and I felt my phone start blowing up. And when you know that happens, it's usually not good.
Yes,
if you have a lot of friends that are Green Bay fans, you usually don't get a lot of good news from that. So, as I was watching the beginning of that 19-yard run from Patrick Mahomes, I started feeling a lot of notifications. So I was like, yeah, I pretty much stood up at my parents' house and said, yeah, we lost. I didn't even look down. I said, yeah, we lost. I already know what happened here.
Yeah, you did lose. Tough. We're gonna talk about that very shortly. But yeah, like I said, I was on a cruise. I watched the first half in a theater, sitting top deck. It was like a big ass fucking like kind of like opera house movie theater style. It was pretty fun. And then I watched the second half in the upstairs in the room with the family, and I got my wish. I got some plays right, boys. I said Pacheco was gonna fumble the ball in the second quarter. He fumbled the ball in the second quarter, lost the ball. So I got something right. Maybe I should have made a bet last night. I didn't have a chance to. I know you, Doc, and Luke. I don't think you guys hit any of your parlays.
I don't even want to look. I'm positive I don't even want to look.
No,
Luke was praying for a
I'm pretty sure Kittle fucked me real hard. Kittle raw dogged me, dude.
Yeah, pretty much every part. I missed every parlay. I got a couple single bets in there. You know, took Kansas City money line. Got that. I got Purdy rushing over. Got that one.
I got that. I got the Purdy over rushing.
And then I got the Mitchell over on rushing on 4.5 yards. So
heck yeah,
I think those are the only 3 bets I won. I think I lost everything else.
Dude, that was that play. It was in OT or the end of the fourth quarter when CMC got up and you saw him point. He was just like, I need one play. I need one play out, and he rushed off, and Mitchell came sprinting in.
Yeah,
he was gassed.
He got like a 7-yard run, and I'm like, that's money right there.
You said Kittle raw dogged you, right? And you know George Kittle said back in 2019 after that, or I'm sorry, well 2020 technically, but the Super Bowl 54, he said he's going to be back in the Super Bowl. Was he actually there last night? Because I don't recall really seeing George Kittle much at all last night. That long-haired son of a bitch, I did not see him much at all through the game.
And that's the thing, like even when you look at Kelsey, even in games where Kelsey hasn't been utilized, like you still see him in the plays, you still see him blocking, you still see him trying to get open, you see him getting overthrown like Mahomes did on that pick that he threw yesterday, you know. But like Kittle Kittle was just non-existent. I think
Well, let's
Vegas
talk about
called.
it. Well, let's talk about it. Super Bowl 58, the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Francisco 49ers. It was a 10-point early lead for the 49ers in the second quarter. Yeah, actually the first quarter. It was 10-0, and then the Chiefs started coming back slowly. The Niners still played a little bit of offense in the fourth quarter. Then the Chiefs did what they do. They came back. They won the game. So the question is, what was the difference maker? Was it the MVP quarterback, Patrick Mahomes? Was it the Chiefs defense that they were making some plays? Or was it the 49ers doing – it was 10-0.
No,
Or was it, I'm sorry. It was 0-0.
10-3.
I had to look because I was like, wait, I think
you're
I thought the first ended 0-0.
No, I was thinking of 10-0. It was almost 10-0 in the second quarter because of the squares. I was keeping track of that on the ship. But
one hell of a win for the first quarter on the squares.
It was a hell of 0-0. It was a hell of a win. But no, I mean, was it Kyle Shanahan, boys, and his egotistical ass, like I've been saying all fucking year, what Shanahan does? What was the difference of this wonderful Super Bowl?
I think the big problem, and I said you and I talked on the phone hours ago, Mark, and I think that San Francisco just changed up their game plan. We saw, I think I heard him say at one point, like the whole first half, the Niners didn't blitz once, but they were able to contain Mahomes. You know, I said it on the last show with the Super Bowl prediction. If you want to, you got to run it like you did Lamar. I mean, Mahomes is going to give you better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, but you've got to force him to stay in the pocket, contain the outside, don't give him a chance to scramble. Honestly, those last 2-minute drives, especially, like why you're not running a QB spy is beyond me. You know what he can do. You should have run the contain to keep him in the pocket, get that QB spy. That 19-yard run does not happen. You know what I'm saying?
The halftime crew called it, Doc. They said second half the Chiefs have to go no huddle, and they started doing it in the second half. They started going no huddle. Yeah. They were going quick pace, and that kept the Niners off guard too, as well.
I saw a huge difference in the defense. It seemed like, so you nailed it. You said when you said they went up that 10-0, that is like, well, I think it was 3-3 and then 10-3, wasn't it?
No, it was 10-0 start off, and then it was 10-3 at the end. Yeah.
Okay, so I think at that point the Niners let off the gas and were like, coach from here. But they didn't do it right because they didn't give CMC the ball. I think he had like 52 rush yards in regulation yesterday. Got like 40% of his rush yards in overtime because they fed him that last drive in overtime. But Purdy came out slinging, making all the plays. He had like 123 yards in the first quarter or something ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, just went flat. I mean, he finished with like 250, but when you talk about 120-something in the first quarter and then 120-something for the rest of the game, you went flat, dude. The play call changed, the gameplay changed, the tempo changed, everything changed. They should have stayed on the gas. 10-0 ain't shit. We've seen it before. 10-0 ain't a pimple on the Super Bowl's ass. And for you to change up the game plan, take your foot off the gas, and not continue to pressure the Chiefs, especially in all of that time in regulation where you had them, where they weren't making plays, they weren't who the Chiefs usually are, right? So if you're continuing to pile it on them, get the points, everything else, you're putting them in a deficit where you're forcing them now to try and make big plays and make those mistakes. We saw what happened when they forced Mahomes to make that big play, try to hit Kelsey. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even going to say he was going for Kelsey because he either overthrew Kelsey or underthrew who was it behind him? Rashee Rice or Scantling? It might have been Scantling because it was really kind of in between both of them. So I don't know who the hell he was going for. I never heard who he was going for in that play. But, you put him in a high-pressure situation, force him to make that bad play. First turnover in like 250 snaps in the postseason. They gave the game away. The Chiefs did what the Chiefs do, especially Mahomes in 2-minute drills, and he had 2 of them. But Niners lost that game more than the Chiefs won, in my opinion.
Well, I was telling you, Jones. I looked it up. The first 3 drives in the third quarter. So starting the second half, they went 3 and out 3 straight times. That's 9 plays. Chris McCaffrey touched the ball twice, a rush and a reception. Didn't even have any more targets after that one reception. So it's like, what are we doing? You're up now 10-3 to start the second half. The Chiefs fumbled the bag and start the half. Why are you not using arguably the MVP? I think he won. Was he the Offensive Player of the Year? I didn't really watch the award show because
He did win Offensive Player of the Year.
He should have been MVP. He should have been
why
MVP.
aren't you? Oh, he was the MVP out of the skill position player. So why aren't you using him? Like why aren't you using him when you're up? Like why aren't you running the clock? Like we've seen it. Get Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Those are the two guys that are the goats in everyone's eyes. You don't leave them time. You don't try and outgun them unless you have to. They didn't have to. I get it. You're going to use the refs in a minute. And I get it. They're playing against the refs, but hey, you still got to run the clock out. If you run the clock out, you're making it harder for Mahomes. And I feel like great Mahomes, I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was phenomenal. I think that the zone coverage in the fourth quarter and overtime by Steve Wilkes, that was horrible. You don't let Patrick Mahomes play against zone coverage because, like Luke said, Kelsey's going to find the fucking hole every time. He's going to find that window. He's going to sit there, or he's going to run right through it, and he's going to get you open, and Mahomes is not going to miss. So you did what Doc's been saying, too. Everyone wants to change game plan. Allen said it. There's been two teams that consistently know how to win games. Bill Belichick in that dynasty in the Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, because they do what you're supposed to do when the game's on the line. You do your job, and you do what the other team's bad at, and you do what you're good at, and you're going to win the games majority of the time. It's that simple. And Kyle Shanahan, it reminds me of Andy Reid back in Philly. He can't win the big game. His ego is bigger than the rest of the fucking team. That's the way I feel. I'm always going to feel that until he wins the Super Bowl. His ego is too goddamn big.
But when you change game plans that drastically like that and you can't execute, I mean, unbelievable.
So what I feel like is right at the first half, we moved the ball really well. Was it 5 yards to carry from McCaffrey? 4.5, 5?
I think he finished around 4. Well, a total game he finished around 4.
Total he was 3.6.
3.6. Okay, there was a lot of 1 yard plays, especially late in the game there. So I think you had what was it, 22 carries for 80 yards total?
Eight catches, I think, too, for 80.
He had 80 as well. It's 80 and 80. He had 160 total from scrimmage. But a lot of those 1 yard ones were in those last 2 drives prior to the game winner by Kansas City. So that really dropped his average down. To be honest, I don't know why the 49ers strayed from the run. I do agree that was the questionable calls that were given. But I feel like the reason why Kyle Shanahan strayed away from the run so much, I don't understand why they went to just straight drop back or even just shotgun passing when play action has been the bread and butter all season long. I don't understand the stray away from that, but I feel like the fact that, I know you're going to say about the ref thing, but I'll let Doc say what he's going to say real quick before I get on that point. I saw you lift the hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to hit on, what you were saying with straying away and stuff, and I think it kind of tied in what Mark was saying with the ego of Shanahan. And I think that coupled with Purdy with the drop back being in that high-pressure situation. I mean, as a Niners fan, you cannot be upset with the result of this season.
Oh, no. I'm pissed off on the Niners. This is the year you win the Super Bowl. Like the Ravens, this is the Ravens and the Niners' year. You just lost to arguably the worst Kansas City Chiefs team led by Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes did what Mahomes does.
But at least offensively, this is the worst year the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to face them. They're going to get better next year. I guarantee they're signing a big-name receiver. They're going to try to draft a decent young receiver. They're going to be way better than they are this year.
I'm not saying you can't be disappointed. I'm saying, the reality is you've got a 1.5-year-old quarterback that is proving everybody wrong. And I think that this was just the first time being in this position. Now he knows the atmosphere. How many quarterbacks are winning championships or first time going to the show? You know what I'm saying? How many in any sport, how many teams are winning first time going to the show? Jones, maybe you can tell me how many people on this team were on that last Niners Super Bowl run in 19?
There was a handful.
I think a lot of them were.
But it's
you're talking about players from the last run, right?
Debo, Bosa, Fred Warner. Yeah. I mean,
Bosa was a rookie.
Kittle.
Debo, basically, that was one of his first seasons, wasn't it? I think
that was his rookie season.
That was starting out as a Swiss Army knife.
That was rookie year.
So Kittle was, I think, his second season that year.
Third.
Debo in his was he 2016?
Kittle came in 17. Because I was deployed. I was deployed when he. I was deployed when he was a rookie. Yeah.
So he came in with Mahomes then. All right.
So you had a handful of guys.
But when you're talking that time, but
yeah, but you have guys
when you're talking about a guy
too.
But when you're talking about a guy driving the team, this is Mahomes' third Super Bowl win, second in a row, 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, 3rd out of 5 years.
3rd out of 5 years. So you got a guy that knows what to do. Yeah. Right. So you got a guy that knows what to do in this situation. Stick to the game plan. Do what we know we can do. And that's where, like I said, the ego of Shanahan is what kind of started the downfall, but then the inexperience from Purdy is what kind of capped everything off, because you change a game plan with Mahomes, and I have no doubt Mahomes can execute it. That was the problem. That was the biggest problem, was the execution. Missing on the 3rd and shorts, not hitting the open guys, not seeing open receivers, panic dumping. Purdy, it's going to take this year to get that down. Come back next year stronger than ever, and you're going to be good.
Jones, Luke, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the 49ers free agency looks like.
Well, look at Lamar. Lamar took 4 trips to the playoffs to finally win a game.
Yeah, I mean,
no, he won in his 3rd playoff appearance. Against the.
You get what I'm saying though. Like
Lamar,
it's when you're going in for the first, like especially as the quarterback and you're leading you're trying to lead, start a dynasty and lead the squad. I mean, it's not an easy task. And honestly,
no offense, quarterbacks that have won it in their 2nd season as a starter.
I'm not arguing that it that it can't happen. I'm just saying. But you look at you look at Purdy throughout the playoffs, and this goes, and again it couples with changing the game plan and how the offense is run for San Francisco. But you take the rest of this playoffs, this was not playing like a Niners team that we saw year long. This is playing like the Niners team that we saw in their losing streak. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about Shanahan. I mean, I don't know about Luke, and I know Jones, like he's going to spew up them refs in a minute, but I know Luke probably got some shit to say too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I put this game on Shanahan. Like coming in three and outs in a row with only getting McCaffrey the ball twice, one rush and one pass. I mean, that's just the wrong way to go about it. Yeah, I get McCaffrey touched the ball 30 times, but he was the only player on that 49ers offense that was like able to do anything against the Chiefs. Really, other than that, nobody did like anything. Like Ayuk was like the 2nd leading receiver, and he only had 3 catches, and and you had Purdy as the number 2 rusher. I mean, McCaffrey was this team's offense, and why they strayed away from him in the second half, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like it worked all the first half. Like besides his fumble, like McCaffrey was like playing very well against this Chiefs defense. Like he was at the beginning of it. Besides, he could stop 1-yard rushes, but a lot of his rushes he was breaking off 5 to 8, 9, 10 yards. A lot of rushes. So I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I think it's Shanahan's fault why that game ended up this way. They gave the Mahomes too much time with the ball in his hand in the second half, and he does what he does. That's why Mahomes in a league of his own.
All right, Jones. Let's hear about the zebras now. Let's hear about the zebra stripes. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. As I know, our other 49ers faithful, Jake Winnekind, says excuses are for losers. Take the L, move on. He's a Niners fan. He's from Cali. He's from the Bay. He says, you get it. Probably Bosa was held 36 times last night. Every single play, everyone's held. So he's like, take the L, move on. But I know you've had issues the last 2 Super Bowls with the referees. Same referee, head official. But rip off the Band-Aid.
So you named the referee, the same official. Obviously, that's going to be a key point there. Another thing is the fact that you said this is the worst Kansas City Chiefs team they've had since Mahomes got there. But this is the best defense that they've had since Mahomes arrived.
Yeah, best defense, which honestly came out of nowhere. Because on paper at the start of the year, I was not impressed.
But worse offense, though.
Team. Number 2.
But worse offense, though.
100% worse offense.
Since the year before Mahomes came in, when they had Alex Smith, and I think that was the year that he sat 2016.
No, well, Alex Smith started 2017. Mahomes was a rookie who sat every game besides his season finale, and it took the win in his debut, by the way. But he didn't.
But they were not a crazy team in 16. 16, they were just still getting that little groove in there. But they had the number 3 defense that year as well. But last night it wasn't so much the fact that the penalties weren't called. It was the timing of when the penalties weren't called. Mind you, there's holding at all times of the night. Everyone's going to have holds here and there. And a lot of the times it'll be a hold and the player gains 2 yards, 3 yards. But when you're getting those holds on 3rd and 6 on the game-winning drive, or 3rd and 10 on a drive to get the game tied, or just any build-up to that. And the Chiefs all year have the top 2 offensive linemen in the entire NFL that are called for holding all year long. And then you want to say all of a sudden, within a 2-week period, they just have muscle memory to get to the point where they don't get called for a single hold all night. When there's plays, especially on that last drive when Mahomes went on 3rd down, rolled out right, and threw an incomplete pass, there was 3 holds on that single play that were as blatant as you could get out. And not a single call was called on it. When Bosa was tackled by 74, I forgot who that was, Donovan Smith took out, Chase Young on a.
So tackling a guy is weird. Tackling guy is weird though. If you pancake a guy and you go down with him, it depends on how you tackle him. So I would have to watch that over.
They had him hugged. I'll pull it up here if I can figure out how to do that. I will pull it up for you guys.
Yeah, you can knock guys over.
Yeah, you can screen share. Yeah, you can share right there on the bottom of that screen.
What I hit share?
Yeah, you share on the bottom right there.
Just close all your porn tabs, dude. We don't want to see that.
Yeah, we don't want to.
I got none of those. All right, chill out.
While you're pulling that up, though, Jones, I understand holds. I mentioned to you Super Bowl 51, Falcons and Patriots. That's a big one for me. The game-winning score was a holding play when the Patriots ran the ball in. It was a hold on Deion Jones.
Hey, hold didn't erase a 25-point deficit.
Yeah, but exactly. We had opportunities to win the game, and you guys had opportunity after opportunity after more opportunities. I don't know how many opportunities you had in the whole game, and you did not execute. You didn't do what the Niners do, and I get it. The refs suck. We say it every single week. The referees suck.
The referees are going to miss shit. You got 22 guys on the field and 7 referees? You're going to miss shit.
Here we go.
So you guys see what I'm sharing right now?
Yeah, if you guys are watching out there, this is Jones sharing a so-called holding play. You got 6 seconds to kind of review it, so let's go.
And we're going to get in trouble for this.
4 down linemen, the top 2, and Bosa on the bottom here. Notice the top 2 and Bosa on the bottom.
Play.
Let me get that play going.
No, if you spin into him, that's different. If you spin into a guy, it's not holding.
If you're holding them, it's the same thing. Watch Bosa, though. Just watch Bosa, for example, on the bottom there.
Bosa spins into the right tackle. That's not on the right tackle.
Grab him and tackle him, that's an entirely different scenario. Watch, he grabs
him, 2 hands,
holds, and then tackles him. He went down with him in a tackle.
He pushed him down. You're allowed to push him down.
That is as simple as it gets.
That is a pancake
at all.
He spun into him and he pushed him down as he's going forward. You're allowed to do that. That's not a hold. That's not a hold.
He literally didn't even attempt to block straight on. He grabbed him with
Bosa spun into him and he fucking had him, and then he pushed him down. You're allowed to push a guy down.
I'm not arguing that there are missed penalties. There's always missed penalties, dude.
I can pull up what a missed block is.
But my problem is on that lead-changing field goal in the fourth quarter that made it 19-16.
One first down, it's over, by the way.
When Purdy...
One first down, it's over.
That's what I'm saying. When Purdy... And the big one that got me on that was when Purdy panic dumped beyond the end zone or out of bounds. I don't remember where he threw it. That Juwan Jennings was wide open. He had pressure coming. And that's where that tunnel vision came in and that experience that I'm talking about in that high-pressure situation. And instead of looking for that open receiver, granted down the field, but, pretty much right in front of him, he panicked and threw it away. And that was the touchdown for the game winner, or at least the first down to put the game away. I mean, for every... I'm not saying that...
touchdowns, Doc, too. He missed a
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there wasn't missed penalties, but for every missed penalty, I can show you a big play that could have put the game away for the Niners offense.
Because you have to execute still. And even Luke blames, like he says, there were some missed calls against the Ravens, or that would have helped the Ravens last week. Maybe they don't have to go for a field goal with Tucker late in the game, and now they're driving the ball and get a touchdown. But even Luke says the same thing. Even the pass interference in the end zone where Lamar underthrew it in triple coverage, Luke will say that's a stupid throw, first off. And it's it's going to get picked off even if it's not pass interference. Like, even he says the Ravens didn't execute. Like, they went away from game plan. So, like, it's just it's execution at its finest.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between this game and the Ravens game was the amount of penalties called. So it was 11 penalties called in the Ravens game, and 8 being against the Ravens, with 3 being against the Chiefs. This game was pretty much like head to head.
It was
Chiefs
6-6. It was 55 versus 40, I think, in yards, but I think it was 6-6 in penalties.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, the Niners had the biggest penalty of the game when the Chiefs got called for that defensive hold on like 3rd and 16. That made it 4th and 16.
That was skeptical, by the way, too. A lot of people said that might have even been a little like they said, yeah, by the rule book, it's definitely a hold, but that was also
that was not a soft holding call. Yeah. Did he wrap the man up and the man went down? He wrapped him up with an arm, dude. That was not a soft holding call. If anything, I might say illegal defense, like illegal contact. But it was a penalty regardless, and that penalty results in automatic first down.
Jake mentioned in Discord today. He said the only fans in the world that should be mad are Saints fans. But you know what? I get it. That was the worst missed call I've ever seen in my life. But I don't feel sympathy for them. I think it sucks, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel sympathy because that same game, Jared Goff had a missed face mask, and if they call that, I saw the second it happened. His whole head turned. With his mask turned sideways, they kick a field goal. They get the ball at the 2.5 yard line, a fresh set of downs on the 2.5 yard line. They punch that in with Todd Gurley or who was the backup? That C.J. Anderson, who was balling that playoffs. That makes it harder for the Saints. It changes the game plan for the Saints as well. Maybe they're not throwing in certain situations. It's the same thing. You still have to execute. Like Jake says, you have to control what you can control. You can't control what other people do. You have to execute. And that's the difference. And I think Mahomes, Luke went at it last night. Mahomes was, to me, first half, yeah, he didn't have a statistical great game, but he had 140 in the first half, somewhere around that mark. I don't know the exact number, but he was around 140. He made some key throws, made a beautiful throw to Hardman in double coverage, tight window. They fumbled the ball at the 10-yard line. Pacheco, the next play, and that's where Kelsey got pissed off with Andy Reid for not having him.
That shit was funny.
But, like, Mahomes played a great game the first half. He just kept getting hit, so it didn't look as phenomenal. But I saw he had a good game in the first half. He had a phenomenal game in the second half. I get the interception was bad. A- to me. I think it's an A- game. 333, 4 total yards. Like, Mahomes is the reason they won the game. I told you, Doc, and Luke, and Alan, who's going to step up outside Travis Kelsey? The answer was nobody. It was fucking Patty Mahomes and Kelsey when it mattered. It was
just pissed because CMC would have been the Super Bowl MVP. I would have called.
Yeah. CMC would have been MVP.
And I want to go back to that Saints play. For just a second.
From Jennings?
Yeah.
But CMC had 160 total yards. I think CMC would have got it because of that.
He had a touchdown too, didn't he?
Who had 233?
CMC had a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jones?
Say who had 233?
No, Mahomes had 333. Mahomes had 333 passing, and then he had like 60 yards. He had 66 rushing yards. He had almost more rushing yards than CMC did, and 13 less carries too.
I want to go back to that Saints play though for just a second. So I want to bring something up that I think a lot of people forget about, and that is just quite simply fuck the Saints. You know, that's all I got to say on that.
But even Chris has moved on. Like Chris talked about it like for like the offseason, but he has not really talked much about it. Jones talks about the goddamn Super Bowl 54 4 years later, like it's like the goddamn like it's like the worst thing ever.
Because at that point, that game, I think that was played was on, what was it, 3rd and 12? I want to say it was like the 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12. Mahomes draws back to pass an absolute bomb to Tyreek, who ends up being pretty wide open. But if you watch that play,
gotta be gooder.
As a Nick Bosa as a rookie has basically a clear path and gets tackled by Eric Fisher, the first overall pick in the 2013 draft, who's an absolute fucking trash can of an offensive tackle, which the Chiefs have been notorious for getting bad offensive tackles, as the top 2 tackles penalized this year for holding have been Donovan Smith and whoever that other tackle was for them.
Orlando Brown?
All of a sudden,
no. Orlando Brown was actually good for the Chiefs last year.
Hey, they were good enough to win.
They moved on from him though.
But
because of
their
that.
offensive tackles this year have an absolute garbage, but all of a sudden they played perfect against the best D line in the entire NFL.
Well, we've seen
best.
But we've seen teams take penalties early on in the year, and you said what the Chiefs had three penalties against the Ravens. So this isn't the one game that they didn't get penalized. You know what I'm saying? But we've seen
more in this game. They have more
they were
penalties.
Yeah,
six.
we've seen
teams
teams adjust. We've seen teams
KC had
get
15 more yards
discipline. We've seen teams adjust and be able to hone it in, and that's what they did here. And that could just be the coaches coming down. That could be the fucking owner, like, hey, you get a holding call, man. You ain't coming back next year. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about penalties, right? You can have more penalties for more total yards, but it's not so much the penalties itself, because I think in the last, what they said, like the last 6 years, based off of it, most yards given up by penalties was the Chiefs. They were like anywhere between like 27 and 31 in the league by most penalties, because they get penalized a lot. But it's not the amount of penalties, it's the timing of the penalties, right? If you get penalized a lot, but then all of a sudden you do penalty plays and don't get called for it on game-winning drives, stuff like that, for example, it's almost like when you're playing basketball, say in college, and someone misses a call and they complain about it at the 16:30 mark of the first half. Like, oh, those 2 points would have made a difference. All right, you can recover from that. But it's hard to recover from a missed blatant holding call with
but
2 minutes left.
You controlled the game, though. The whole
overtime.
No, but see, that's and I'm
you
I'm going to go back.
But you were
I'm going to bring the Bears
into
this now.
I'm
going to bring the Bears into this now. Let's take the Bears Eagles. Who do you blame for the Bears losing on that double doink? Because 99% of Chicago blames Cody Parkey. You know who I blame?
I would blame Cody Parkey.
Why? It was tips.
Cody Parkey got fucking flamed.
No, it was not. Shit. It was not Cody Parkey. I blame Mitchell Trubisky for putting us in a position to have to win by a field goal.
How about this?
Doc? We had a fucking quarterback who has shown what he could do as a quarterback, like I've said with Justin Fields this year, but Mitchell Trubisky showed what he could do as a quarterback. If he did not put our offense in a position, to have to kick long field goals or kick last-second field goals, or the defense in a position to overwork and stay on the field, if he did his job as a play caller and the rest of the offense did their job, we wouldn't have even been in that position. And it's the same thing, like I'm saying, with every penalty that you're telling me is missed. I can show you a fucking play that was missed that could have resulted in a touchdown. If the Niners executed on those, and this is where you can play the what-if game all day long, it's just picking and choosing the battle. But if the Niners executed on those plays, those penalties are a moot point.
Well, that's the thing. That's what Jake's saying, Doc, right here. So, people that are complaining are mad at what the Niners can't control, but they're not getting mad at what they can control.
And that's natural.
It's third and short, right? At the end of the game. They get the ball. If they get that first down and the Chiefs stop them the next 3 plays, the Chiefs are going to get the ball with 10, 15 seconds left.
Every big upset.
And you win the game.
Dude, the
Niners controlled the game still and still lost.
I know. Every big game, every big upset, go cruise Facebook for 10 minutes and you'll see everything is the ref's fault. Every sport, ref, umpire, lineman, whatever the case is, it's the official's fault. Every sport fan, especially if they're a fan of that team. It's ridiculous.
Oh, no, I
and I've been guilty of it too. You know what I'm saying? And I get where Jones is coming from because this is your team. You want to win so badly. And honestly, it's easier to blame the refs than it is to acknowledge the shortfalls of your team, because you don't want to find the shortfalls because you had a fucking great team this year. The Niners were unbelievable. They should have won this game.
On paper, they were the best team in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. They should have won this game without any question. And that is why it is easier to look at the refs and blame something out of your control. But you've got to, you pull up film about the Chiefs and the Niners with the missed holding calls, but you got to pull up all the film. You got to look at everything. Because there is a lot of plays. Let's talk about the CMC. He's fumbled 4 times in his goddamn career, and he fumbled one in the big game.
He fumbled 3 times
first drive.
This year.
First drive
this year, 3 times.
Well, my point is he doesn't fumble much.
Let's transition a little.
But the thing about it is, the Niners did make mistakes with that punt. He should have just jumped on the ball. If he jumps on the ball, that stops.
That was a big one. That was a huge one.
That was a turning point.
That turned the whole momentum. Yeah.
Turning point. That right there flipped the switch. The only issue with that, though, And what I'm saying here is I want y'all to hear me out before I get to it. I'm not even talking about overtime at this point. But there were 2 different drives in the third and fourth quarter where I was talking about these missed calls where the Chiefs got themselves in 3rd and 12 and I think 3rd and 4 situations or 3rd and 9 or whatever that was, where the blatant missed calls led to big first downs, and the Chiefs after that managed to bite back in and get 3 and then get 7, I think, off of both of those. And the switch in that is if those calls are made, you're putting the Chiefs in a 3rd and 20, 3rd and 16 situations to where the entire mindset of the Chiefs changes. They're not going to do a 3-yard dump off to McKinnon or a 3-yard dump off to Pacheco or Rice. They're probably going to go for a 13-yard drag route to Kelsey, or they're going for something a little bit deeper to try to catch the Niners off guard, which they were able to do quite a bit of that game. Don't get me wrong, I think zone in the last part of the game was wrong. Man was where we ate up the Lions the prior game. Man was where we eating them early on. And that was bad calling by Steve Wilkes, and I'll admit that.
And Shanahan, because he has the final say, because he called timeout at the end of the game, and he was telling Wilkes to get your shit together, and he still allowed it to happen.
Yeah, and the thing is
Shanahan's
you
a
can
piece of
blame
shit,
that all
dude.
you want, but at the end of the game, if the Niners get the calls that they were supposed to get, it's been 2 Super Bowls, total of 88 passes thrown by Patrick Mahomes against the top offensive or defensive line, basically the top front 7 both times, and not a single holding call the entire time. And I can pull out.
In both games, though,
countless
you were up
amounts
10
of
points. But
And I
both
can-
games you're up double digits, though, and you blow
that's the thing
it.
is,
Did you
digits,
watch-
the first Super Bowl? The first Super Bowl, we were up double digits with 6 minutes left. That was a complete choke game. But that missed call on that bomb to Tyreek in the first game was the biggest missed call because that flipped the whole momentum switch.
I have a
When you get
question,
like a
though.
40-yard bomb to Tyreek, that
Why is
flipped
Tyreek
everything.
open?
That took it
Why
out.
is he open with 20 yards of space? Why is he
Because
open?
if you get time like that, people are going to get open. It doesn't matter.
He didn't have time, honestly.
If
He
you
didn't
give
have
any
time.
Quarterback,
Did you watch the film for the Mahomes interception yesterday?
you can give Mitch Trubisky, you can give any quarterback in the league. If you give them 7 seconds to throw the ball, they're going to get a good pass.
Okay, well,
out.
that play was
Doesn't
not 7
matter.
seconds. Because Mahomes was already on his back foot, throwing it on his back foot. He literally threw it as high as he could, as far as he could, on his
He
back
got the
foot.
throw off if that call happened.
But it was
Wouldn't
not
matter.
7 seconds. Guaranteed it was less
Wouldn't
than
matter.
4 seconds.
I'm just
He
saying, but I'm
launched
saying in
it.
general, if you give him a lot of time, he bombed that ball out because he had time. Normally, you're not getting that kind of time. Last night, there was blatant plays where Nick Bosa got held while at the same time Hargrave got held. I got one here I could show you if I wanted to. Then there was a play in overtime, 3rd and 6, where he threw it to Rashee Rice for a 13-yard gain, where McKinnon literally tackled Fred Warner going straight up the middle, had a straight shot at Mahomes, was going to take him down because Fred Warner's faster than Mahomes, and I think everybody can admit that. Fred Warner is arguably one of the faster linebackers in the NFL, maybe other than Micah Parsons. He's everywhere at all times. I don't get how he does it, but he had a clear sack or a clear, complete misthrow of the ball and was tackled by McKinnon, and it ended up being a first down for 13 yards. And that extended that game-winning drive when it would have been 4th and 6 or even longer. And one play after that, knowing the Niners are going to play some kind of crazy play there, it probably ends the game. That's a Super Bowl win right there. All because of one missed call. And I can name 5 or 6 that changed the game and Niners win that game.
I think we're going to agree to disagree because, I mean, obviously, we all feel a certain way when it comes to it. Like, we understand where you're coming from. We do. Me and Doc and Luke, we understand. Like, but it's excuses because, like Doc says, your team was the most talented team in the NFL, the most all-pros in the NFL. This was the year for the 49ers. Luke had y'all undefeated, actually, before the season started, losing in the Super Bowl, but it didn't happen. I mean, I get it. This was the year for you guys. And before we move on, we'll watch this. Hey, by the way, why isn't Chase Young called for offsides? He's over the fucking line. So where's Miss Offsides?
The line is speculative. It is where the football is at.
Okay, well, the football, they automatically move it a little back when they're about to snap it. He's
Then you
over
ain't
where the
offside
ball
if they
is.
move the football back.
It's where the line of scrimmage is, though.
They've come out. The NFL has come out and said, or maybe not the NFL like execs, but they've come out and said that those lines on the field are not everything.
Yeah, but
that's a digital art on TV.
But it's pretty accurate for the most part. And you got
if you line up in the center and move that football back a little bit, I'm moving my hand up a little bit because I'm not offside.
It's the line of scrimmage still. It's still the line of scrimmage technically in theory. So, like, you got Bosa and Chase Young who are offsides, clearly. Just look what they're lined up at.
Okay, so you can't even tell from this angle, but if I'm looking from this angle, they're not offside. I don't give a fuck about that blue line. They're not offside. The ref is standing. So you see where the blue line's at? And you see where the ref is straddling? That's where the line of scrimmage is at. Not the blue line. The ref ain't straddling the blue line. Line of scrimmage is where the ref is straddling, which looks like the 41.
You can see, like, a little wristband on the center. Like, his right above, like, the helmet of the defensive tackle right there. So
that's what I'm saying. If the rep is if the blue line is the line of if the blue line is the line of scrimmage, the referee is straddling the blue line, not the 41-yard line. He's standing over the 41-yard line because he is in line with the line of scrimmage. He is watching because he's got to make sure that enough players are on the line. He's got to see where the ball's at. He's got to see who's lining up over the top. That's not offside.
It looks like the ball's like right out that hash mark right there. Right where it's actually
play the video, Jones. Let's see this misholding or whatever it was.
Who's it on?
I don't even know. We're about to find out if he plays it. Who we watching? Watching Chase or Nick Bosa? Yeah, okay. It's a mishold.
Sucks. I'm sure there's some misholdings like on the other side of the ball too.
Jones, your headset's cutting out. Can't hear Jones. Can't hear you.
No.
You can hear me now?
There you go.
Got to change those batteries, dude.
Oh no. So it's a plug-in. Thank you. But it puts it at what 3rd and 20 if you accept the penalty, and if you don't, obviously it puts it at a first down. But
like Luke says though,
20, that changes the gameplay. Likely, there's probably going to be an incomplete the next play because they're going to be trying something deeper.
You can't say likely though. Like that's the thing is you can't guarantee.
I'm just saying likely.
Okay, well, likely they get 15 yards, or it's a bomb, 15 yards, and it's now 4th and 5. Like you can't sit there and say, you can't sit there.
Mindset at that point, but instead they missed multiple calls. And the fact
you think they're missed calls though
every time. Are they going to go for 4th every time?
Did you watch the film?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Did you watch the film on Mahomes' interception?
On the pick?
Yep.
I haven't repeated the play, but I can.
Watch that and let me know if you find a holding call in there. Because I think I found one. Because, dude, that was an illegal block in the back. Because he got doubled. No, it was a holding call it was a misholding call on the offense. On the Chiefs line. Or an illegal block in the back.
But they won't complain because they got an interception.
That's what I'm saying. My point is that missed call, you can still stop a play. You can still do your job defensively. Okay, you didn't get to the quarterback. Now, if you get held and like Mahomes breaks out to that side and makes a 19-yard run, getting around you, getting held, I think it's a lot easier for that play to get called because that's where the referee is looking at with the play developing. But if just because there's a misholding, like yes, you are right. If there is a missed call, like it can affect an outcome. But there's no telling that on 3rd and 20, you get a holding call, they call it. Now you're backed up to 3rd and 30. Mahomes can still make that play.
He could probably still. There's a chance that he could make the play, obviously. But I feel like you made the point of there be a hold on the pick play. Obviously, they're going to sit there and take the penalty or not take the penalty because they got the pick. That's not.
But it wasn't called though. That wasn't called. My point though is that regardless of a misholding call, like the outcome is still on the defense. They still could have. Honestly, if you're talking 3rd and 6, I would rather have the stop than the holding call because now you're giving Mahomes another opportunity. You back on 3rd and 16. We saw the 19-yard run. I would rather have the deflection, the interception, the forced fumble, whatever the case is. I would rather see the 4th down than see a 3rd and a little bit longer that we know Mahomes can make some magic happen.
But let's transition.
At the end of the day, penalty call or not, it's still on the defense to do their job.
But say the Bears are in the Super Bowl. They're trying to stop a game-winning drive, and it's 3rd and 35, and they give up a 36-yard pass. They missed 3 holding calls on it.
Jones,
how about you Super Bowl 51? Because the last play, game-winning touchdown with the Sony.
Well, James I also want to know why. I also want to know why the Niners were running a cover 36. I mean, the entire defense was playing up top in the safeties, man.
But hey, let's transition. We can talk off air more about the referees. We've hammered the refs for like the last hand bit.
No, but I'm not talking about the refs anymore. I'm talking about the cover 36 because now, especially talking about Mahomes running a 19-yard play. I think that was the play. They had 5 people playing deep cover, like they were going for a Hail Mary. They weren't going for a Hail Mary. You put some pressure up, cover the inside. That Mahomes 19-yard run ain't happening.
No, I mean we've hammered play calling. I want to ask you guys though a question, like a legit. We've seen it's a dynasty now. They are officially a dynasty. They got their 3. Are they 3-peating next year? I mean, like legit. Or do we see a 3-peat?
God, I fucking hope not.
So, if the script says so, I mean,
take away the jokes, like legit, like
if Taylor Swift is still in the picture, they get it.
Exactly. If Taylor Swift is there, it's going to be.
Was she in the picture the first 2?
It'll be the next one. She was in the picture the last 13. Everything's
no, but there's.
Right now, so.
I'm seeing a collab going on. I'm seeing a collab going on with the NFL and Taylor Swift right now.
But like legit,
just having Taylor.
No, but I'm just saying like legit. Like I'm just saying like legit. Like we said, this is the worst offense Patty Mahomes has had. The defense, yes, should stay good. We'll see what happens to Chris Jones. He's a free agent. If he comes back or not. I
think honestly, it doesn't happen unless the Chiefs make some serious moves either in the offseason, and they're still looking at losing Chris Jones. Huge piece of that defense because they got him on the 1-year deal. I don't know who else is coming up. I haven't looked at their contracts. But
Kelsey's back, by the way. Kelsey's back. Kelsey's not retiring.
He's back, but he's aging. He's beat up.
Well, he'd be silly to retire going for a 3-peat.
He said we're coming back for a 3-peat. We're back next year.
Yeah, I think they need significant improvements on offense. They need receivers. Rashee Rice has done great, but he is not it.
Mike Evans, go get Evans, man. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying. They need offensive weapons.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, I think that other teams are going to make the moves because this was probably, like you said, the most vulnerable Kansas City defense. And honestly, this defense, I think Chris Jones coming back really revamped this defense and made them elite. I don't think that they were good the first couple weeks of the season.
Oh, no, they were. They held the Lions to 14 points week 1, but it was a pick 6 that lost the game because Kadarius Toney dropped the ball into the guy's hand. Then they get 14 the Lions, and then week 2
it's hard to chalk up holding anybody in week 1 to anything because week 1 is always low offensive production.
Their defense is not getting.
They shut down the Jaguars. Their defense shut down the Jaguars. Who did not shut down the Jaguars this season, Mark?
They're the only defense that did not allow 30 points in a game all year. And they also had the best second half defense all year long, averaging less than 7 points a game.
My point, second half defense. I'm not saying they weren't a good defense, Mark. I'm saying the first couple weeks of the season, they were not a good defense, in my opinion. They made some good plays, but I don't think they were an elite defense in the first couple weeks of the season. They got better. And I think Chris Jones coming back helped that. Anyways, that's not even my point. They need offensive weapons. I think other teams are going to go out and make moves and realize, like, if the Chiefs won this with what they have, we can do it too. And other teams have more pieces. So I think the Chiefs they're not doing a 3-peat unless they make some serious moves. I think this year was just a very, like, if you want to talk about rigged, this is the evidence of rigged because of how weak this offense is.
But let's go back to that defense real quick. Week 1, they allowed 14 points to the Lions. Yes, they scored 21, but 14 was by the offense. They allowed 9 to the Jaguars, 10 to the Bears, 20 to the Jets. That was probably the worst game.
Okay, let's relax on the fucking Bears week 3.
Let's keep going. Right? Okay, let's keep going. They allowed 20 to Kirk Cousins and the Vikings when they were getting hot. They allowed 8 to the Broncos again, 17 to the Chargers with Herbert, 24. That's probably the worst one actually against the Broncos. They allowed 14 to Tua, Tyreek Hill, and that electric offense. They allowed 21 to Philly. They allowed 17 to the Raiders. They allowed 27 to the Packers. That might have been their worst one. That's when Love was getting hot. And then they allowed 20 to the Bills. They allowed 17 to the Patriots. They allowed 13 to the Raiders because they scored on a pick six as well. And then they allowed 17 to the Bengals, and they allowed 12 to the Chargers. That was a wash game. And then in the playoffs, 7 to the Dolphins, 24 to the Bills, 10 to the Ravens, the most electrifying offense this year, and 22 to the second most electrifying offense, the 49ers. Defense was good all year. I mean, yeah, they might have let Jordan Love get hot, and that was the worst game they had. But I don't know. Their defense was loaded this year.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they allowed 368 yards to the Lions in week 1.
Hey, points is – but how many points they give up, though? 14. Points. Hey, bend but don't break defense. That's all that matters. I don't give a shit if you get 500 yards.
Look, when you are chalking up elite defenses, though, it is more than just points. I'm not saying points don't matter, but it is more than just points.
Who gave
sacks?
up 14 points?
They get 14 the Lions. They had 21, but it was a pick six that had the other touchdown. So they only allowed 14 on defense.
The game was 21-20.
And that was Kadarius Toney, by the way.
That's defense. Chiefs.
Healthy scratch.
Defense was
yeah, they weren't taking a chance on losing another game with him being offside in a game winner to Travis Kelce.
And that's the question now, too, is how far off – I mean, is Mahomes – like I said here, we are really going to say Mahomes is not the GOAT yet. He has to still do a little more. Is Mahomes the second best quarterback of all time in the NFL's history? He's got 3. The only one's got more is Joe Montana and Tom Brady.
No, because at the end of the day, he could tear his ACL tomorrow and not return to football, and he will not be the second best quarterback in NFL history. Nope.
He's got more rings than everybody else besides Mojo.
Don't care.
And Brady.
Don't care.
And
he needs to win.
If you got 3 rings, that is great. That will help.
Wait. How many more does he need to be the second best of all time? We're talking about right now
to be best of all time.
So he's got 3 rings. Okay, that will help.
I don't think he has to win 8. Sorry,
he's got 3 rings that will help his Hall of Fame case. All right, but I'm going to tell you right now, if he were to break his leg in the offseason, preseason, whatever, and not return to football, or if something were to happen and he does not return to football, 3 Super Bowls, Super Bowl championships is a good case. But I'm going to be honest, a 6-year career. How many folks made it to the Hall of Fame on 6 years?
He's in the Hall of Fame. He was on the Hall of Fame after his first MVP and first ring.
Maybe
he was already in the Hall of Fame.
Luke Kuechly.
He was already in the Hall. He was already in the Hall of Fame after that first Super Bowl.
Kuechly only played 6 years.
He played like 8 or 9.
That MVP in that Super Bowl did not cement his Hall of Fame.
Yes, it did. Literally, everyone said he was already in. Okay, how about this? He's in right now. It's not helping.
Everybody is saying, look. Okay, everybody is saying he is in because they're like, this guy is magical and he's got a good projection for his career. Those numbers, Mark, you are not going to sit here and tell me one fucking season is going to get him the Hall of Fame.
How about now? You said it's helping his case. How about now, Doc? He said after 6 years, I guarantee he's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer today.
No.
Today.
No.
Yeah, are you serious? He's a 2-time MVP and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. Yes, he's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer.
No.
If Calvin Johnson did it after 10 seasons with a fucking top 25 statistical category, was a first ballot Hall of Famer, then Patrick Mahomes is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
What is Mahomes at the top 25 in statistically?
He's in the top 25?
What is Mahomes' top 25 NFL football quarterback history statistically? What is Mahomes' top 25 in?
What did he do in the postseason when it matters the most? Because you've said the playoffs matter more than anything yourself. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, dude.
There is requirements, and that's why I'm saying the Super Bowls, the MVPs help because you have to make case. Like, there are certain things that you have to do in order to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. You cannot just play and be eligible for the Hall of Fame. I don't know what they are for the NFL. I know for like baseball, like all the awards and shit it's like a point system to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. You got to win Silver Sluggers, be an All-Star, Gold Glove helps, World Series, all this shit. But I will be hard pressed to say if Patrick Mahomes dies in a boating accident tomorrow, or falls off the top of that double-decker bus in the Super Bowl parade and gets run over, that he is getting a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Okay, so Patty Mahomes is 20. Okay, he's 65 and I'm sorry, what's this? This is so throwing yards. But I'll tell you, everyone that's above him that has not done anything: Trent Green, Chris Chandler, Lynn Dawson won a championship, Rich Gannon, Brad Johnson, Jake Plummer, Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott's been in longer. John Kitna, Jared Goff. Yeah, these guys are there, but they don't have what he has. Him being that many yards behind makes up because he's got the best playoff stats. He's fucking the top 3 or 4 in playoff stats.
And if he continues the way he is going, yes, he is going to the Hall of Fame.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. I'm telling you,
he is not right now. Not after 6 fucking years.
I would argue the fact that after 6 years, he is 3rd all-time on quarterbacks for playoff wins with 15. He's 1 game behind Montana and 16 games behind Tom Brady. Mind you, Tom Brady's played almost 4 times as long. 22 years, I think?
22 years, I think.
He played 22 years and got 31 postseason wins. Mahomes is at 15 as of last night. 15-3 in the playoffs. Those 3 were obviously the years he didn't make the Super Bowl. Which
two losses to Brady.
He's 39th in total touchdowns.
Dude, if he dies tomorrow, I don't fucking think that a fucking voting team is voting him in first ballot.
Yeah, I think you don't. I think you are. If you're underestimating what he's done, the playoffs matter so much more. If I'm telling you now, I don't give a shit if Calvin Johnson's 25 in every category. He had no success in the playoffs. I get he's a wide receiver; it's a little harder, but he had no playoff success. Patrick Mahomes is already tied for 3rd of Super Bowls. He's got 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
Was Calvin Johnson a first ballot?
Yes, he was.
Okay,
he was a first.
Why are you fucking?
How about this one?
I asked a goddamn question, dude. Relax. Relax.
How about this one? T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer who did more in his career than Calvin Johnson did. So I'm telling you right now, if Calvin Johnson
pissed a lot of people off.
I don't give a shit. T.O. was a better wide receiver than Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, well, if the voters don't like you, you're not gonna get voted in. What are you
gonna like Mahomes?
It's opinionated.
To be fair, though, let me ask you. While I do agree that Mahomes will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, regardless if he died in the parade tomorrow or whatever. While I do agree he will end up being a first ballot if that happened, you say that the postseason matters more. Now, say for example,
when did I say the postseason?
Right?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We've all said postseason matters.
Mark says postseason matters the most, right? What you do in the postseason matters. And you said what you said. While I agree that what Mahomes has done in his career, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer tomorrow if they had to vote him in. But Mark said that it matters what you do in the postseason, and Mahomes has been a winner. He's won 3 out of 6 years, which is great. Best start you could ever have.
I think he's had the best start in his first 7 seasons of his career. He's top Brady because of the playoff numbers. They both had 3 rings, but the playoff numbers and the regular season numbers benefit Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you were saying playoffs matter the most. And I said if Nick Foles, for example, only played in the postseason and kept winning and won 6 Super Bowls only playing postseason games, won 24 games in his career, winning wild card through the Super Bowl and won 6 rings. Would that put him at a first ballot Hall of Famer only because
not first ballot, but he'd probably get in. He would probably get in, but not first ballot because yes, I agree with Doc at the same time. The other stuff matters. So being a 2-time MVP, that swings the what.
All that shit matters. Pro Bowl, getting voted to the Pro Bowl, whether you play or not, because nobody fucking plays the Pro Bowl, but being in the Pro Bowl does matter.
Almost, what is it? Every MVP I think is in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know.
I don't know the NFL Hall of Fame like that. I don't even know the requirements to get in.
I think if you've ever
because
you're in there.
No, because Steve McNair's not in. Steve McNair shared the MVP with Peyton Manning.
Shared. I mean, that's a tough one when you say shared.
Yeah.
I mean,
in there too.
Yeah, is Matt Ryan going to make it? Okay. Is Matt Ryan going to make the Hall of Fame? Because he's an MVP.
I think Matt Ryan would make the Hall of Fame.
I am not saying.
I think he's still got a year or so eligibility.
I agree that Mahomes is destined for the Hall of Fame. It is hard for me to say a 6-year career is worthy of the Hall.
I don't think Mahomes
he's got 2 MVPs.
Top.
2 MVPs and 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He's a 3-time champion. Been to the Super Bowl 4 times in his first 6 seasons.
I know. I get it. That's a 6-year career is just a very short time to judge whether. Because, dude, listen. When you take, I'm not taking away from what he's done. I'm not taking away from what he's done. But when you talk about putting a guy in 6 years, and here's where it really gets into it, is because you start looking at the credibility of the Hall of Fame. If we're letting a guy in after a 6-year career, and you look at baseball, right? Because nobody's playing that long in baseball anymore. Nobody's playing. I mean, very rarely people are playing 20-year careers now. You have a fucking rock solid 6-year career. You're talking like a Jose Fernandez. I don't remember how many years he played, but I know he died real young. I think he might have played 3. But you talk about a guy that absolutely dominated the game, like sub 2.5 ERA for his career, 1 World Series, 3 in his first 6 years, whatever, played 6 years in Major League Baseball. Like, you get to a point where you're like, are we taking this seriously, or you can come in, like you said, Luke Kuechly. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Not yet, no. But Patrick Willis is in the fucking Hall of Fame. No offense to you, Jones. I love Patrick Willis. What is he in his career? And Patrick Mahomes isn't a fucking dog? Are you serious? he's the fucking best player in the NFL. Patrick Willis was never the best player in the NFL. He was never the best defensive player in the NFL. He was one of the best linebackers in his time, but never the best defensive player in the NFL.
Okay, well, when you're talking about the best player, you cannot compare a linebacker to a quarterback. Come on, dude. You know better than that. Nobody can impact a game. A linebacker cannot impact a game like a quarterback. You know that.
Ray Lewis did. He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor did. He won MVP. I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, you can impact it a little bit. Brian Urlacher impacted the game.
Not sustained over a career though.
But the difference is Patty's a 3-time champion. Like, that's more than most people have in a career, an actual 15-year career.
Okay, and that's fine. My opinion is that a 6-year. He is destined for the Hall of Fame the way he's playing. But you say a first ballot Hall of Famer right now, a 6-year career does not do it for me.
I mean, he's done more to me than most quarterbacks have. I get it, he won't have the statistical numbers, but he'll have everything else, the playoff statistics.
You look at the Hall of Fame and you're like, yep, all right, going down the wall at Canton, Ohio. Okay, yep, we got all these great Hall of Famers, and then we got Patrick Mahomes, 3 Super Bowls, nice. We got 2 MVPs, great. And we got 9,000 passing yards. What the fuck? I mean, I know he's got more than 9,000, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's things you got to look at. There's things that they take into consideration. That's why I say taking the Hall of Fame seriously. It's like, yes, Super Bowls matter. All the accolades, everything else matters, but there's other things that go into account. In a 6-year career, when you're like, this dude had, let's say, 130 touchdowns. Like, we just turned down a guy who had 300 touchdowns on a first ballot.
Terry Bradshaw's got 27,989 passing yards. Hall of Famer. Patrick Mahomes got more.
And just saying. When we look at...
he's got more.
When we look at the game style from back when Bradshaw played and now... Dude. I mean, are we talking a pass-heavy game?
Oh, they also play more games now, too.
And he also played 15 seasons, so he also had an additional 8 seasons over Patrick Mahomes. 8 seasons. So
how many championships does Bradshaw have?
He's got 4. Mahomes has got 3. And he played 15 seasons. Okay. Mahomes has only played 7 and only started 6. Like, I mean, he's played 6. Yeah, he's played 6, but it says it's going to count as a 7-year career, like Brady, 23.
Yeah, 6 in a game.
That's why I say first 7 seasons he's done. In my opinion, he's done better than Tom Brady because of the yards, the playoff numbers, the touchdowns, the MVPs.
I agree. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But Brady also played 22 years.
Yeah, but Brady retiring at that point of his career probably wouldn't have gone in first ballot. But we're talking about first 7 seasons. Brady probably wouldn't have been a first ballot.
How different are the numbers? How different are the numbers between Mahomes and Brady?
8,000 passing yards, but he doesn't have the accolades. He doesn't have MVPs. He didn't have 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He had 2, but he didn't have any NFL MVPs at that point. Mahomes has got the All-Pros, the MVPs, the fastest to this at this point of his career. He's got all that stuff. He's the fastest to these records. That's the point. He's on trajectory. He's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer regardless. We don't think he's retiring now.
I don't know Mahomes.
But
I don't know Mahomes' full accolades. So I mean, okay, I can look that up and then I can give you, maybe I can make a better answer. But I don't know. If I am the NFL or the Hall of Fame voting committee and I'm looking at a guy and I'm like, he played 6 years, like it's great. Tragedies happen, but there's been guys that have across sports that have done equivalent to what he's done, in whatever it is in that sport, and still have not gotten in after a 6-year career because they left for whatever reason.
You were talking about Tom Brady, Mark, right? And his MVPs and Super Bowls, but he had 3 Super Bowls in his from 2000 to 2004. He won 3 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs, the exact same as Patrick Mahomes.
Not 2 NFL MVPs. Not NFL
two NFL
MVPs.
MVPs.
No, he was Super Bowl.
Okay,
exactly my point.
Never mind. Okay, my point.
And by the way, his third one, a wide receiver won it. Patrick Mahomes has not had anybody win Super Bowl MVP that wasn't named Patrick Mahomes on his team. It has not been an MVP. Tyreek Hill never won it. Travis Kelce never won it. No one else won it. And by the way, that's not the first time that Brady's had another guy win MVP on his team. I'm pretty sure, Julian Edelman won MVP later in his career. That year that they scored 13 points against the Rams, electrifying fucking offense there too. So let's pump the brakes. First 7 years, Mahomes has done a lot more than Tom Brady did, and he went to more Super Bowls too.
He's on a tear, but I will still say Tom Brady will not be overtaken until Mahomes wins 8.
I don't think Mahomes has to win 8. I really don't.
Probably needs at least 2 more.
I think Mahomes can say he's got 6.
Probably at least 5.
I don't think head-to-head to me. I don't think because I think all the other accolades and everything will eventually trump it.
Because
head-to-head
he has to
get
NFL 5 Super Bowls and at least double the MVPs.
Well, he's already got 3. But all right, he's got 2. How many did Brady have? How many did Brady have? 4.
Brady had 3. He only had 3 MVPs.
The head-to-head's like that. I know. Mahomes made that joke yesterday, Luke, or I don't know if it was a joke. He said, he beat me head-to-head twice. Blah blah. We've already had this conversation. Head-to-head in the NFL is not the same head-to-head NBA. Like that's the whole comparison. Basketball, you play offense and defense. Mahomes isn't playing Tom Brady. He's playing the Patriots and the Bucs defense. He outperformed Tom Brady in the AFC Championship, but Brady won. You could go out there and throw
the Patriots though. He got beat by the Patriots.
But he didn't get. But the problem is it wasn't Tom Brady out. But Tom Brady didn't outperform Patrick Mahomes. You could go out there and throw 500 yards. Ask Tom Brady. He threw 500 yards in the Super Bowl. And he didn't get outplayed by Nick Foles, but Nick Foles won the game. I mean, that's a true statement. He threw 500 yards in the Super Bowl and lost the game. He didn't play bad, did he? No, he got outperformed by the Philadelphia Eagles, their offense. It wasn't just Nick Foles. It was everything else too. And that's the thing. You don't play against the quarterback. It's not Tom versus Patrick. It's Tom versus the defense. And Doc's had that conversation with me. We were kind of agreeing on that one earlier on the year when we were talking about it with Alan.
What was that?
He beat him twice in the playoffs. Okay, well, yeah, but did he outperform him both times? He outperformed the Super Bowl. I'll give him that because all the little things that happened, but he didn't outperform him being in the AFC Championship.
No, and there's so much, and that's why it's an all-encompassing thing. It's more than just accolades. It's more than just your ranking on the stats. There's so much that goes into it with who's better, where they, who's voting in, whatever. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm saying is, and again, I'll reiterate, all I'm saying is it is hard to vote a guy in on a 6-year career. That is my whole thing.
If you don't have accolades and championships, yeah, I agree with you there. If he doesn't have anything to back him up, that's the problem. Is he's a winner and he's got the accolades, the All-Pros. It's
especially coming off arguably his worst offensive season, I think, in his career.
His worst offensive year in his career is what most guys would love.
But he did win a Super Bowl in his worst offensive year. I think it was 27 touchdowns, 14 picks.
And whoever said that Patrick Willis should have been a Hall of Famer. He was on pace to beat the NFL record for tackles in a career. So, I mean, that's one thing right there.
I mean, it's sad that London Fletcher's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's got the same stat-wise career as Ray Lewis. I love Ray Lewis, but he's got the same statistical year.
Is Fletcher even? Is Fletcher? When did he retire?
Yeah, he's been retired. That's the problem. A lot of people say, why isn't London Fletcher being even considered? He's not even been a finalist.
He got out at 13.
Rayler's got 2 rings and a Super Bowl MVP though. That also helps.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Is it's the rings and it's the accolades.
Two Defensive Player of the Years, right?
Fletcher should be in though, just based on stats. And he was a game changer as well.
I'm thinking I had him mixed up. I thought he was still playing. I was thinking Fletcher Cox.
No,
London Fletcher's been out for
years. No, I had a little mix up there.
But no, I mean,
chalking up to one of these bad boys.
We'll keep an eye on Mahomes. I mean, we don't think he's not done anytime soon. I mean,
you're talking a crazy action, and that's all I'm saying is the 6-year career. But no, he is 100%. Yeah, he is 100% destined for the Hall of Fame. I am not saying he's not. You know what I mean? I'm not arguing that at all.
No, I know that. I mean, I was just asking, is he the second best quarterback you've ever seen of all time?
I don't think so. I think I still have Peyton Manning ahead of him. Peyton Manning had 5 NFL MVPs and 2 Super Bowls. So, and he did it with 2 different teams. So Peyton Manning's proved he can win on different teams, different coaches, stuff like that. Mahomes only.
I will say though, to make a case for Mahomes winning this year with this offense gives him a lot of stock.
That's my problem.
I will say that.
I will say Peyton's better than Tom because I like Peyton better than Tom. Tom's a better winner than Peyton. I think Peyton was more skilled. I think Mahomes is the most skilled quarterback of all time. And I'm sorry. I get it.
I agree.
Manning had 5 MVPs, and that's great. He's got the most of all time. And arguably he might have more than Mahomes when it's all said and done. But what I'm saying is I trust Mahomes to win the game over Peyton Manning and pretty much any quarterback I've ever seen play the game. I trust Mahomes to get me a win in the most crucial time.
Well, I trust Mahomes over Manning because, I mean, we saw Manning in his struggles against TB12.
But once again, though, I don't like that. It's like, well, he's like, for example, 5 and like Josh Allen. He's 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Okay, well, yeah, he gets 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes led teams, but he's not playing Mahomes. He's playing the defense. Like that's the head. I don't like that part of the head. It's not really. You're not playing against each other. Yeah, you're trying to outduel each other, but
when you're talking about a teams head-to-head like in college, that's one thing. But when you're talking about individual players playing the same position on different teams, it's hard
because
they ain't playing against each other directly.
That's what I'm saying. Because you could like Doc, for example, me and you are quarterbacks of a team. You could throw 500 yards and have 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. I could throw the ball for 275. I have 2 and 2, but we win the game. My running back was better than your running back. It changed the game. You're scoring too quick. We were controlling the clock. Our defense might have made a play extra.
Your defense, your special teams, your kicker can make an extra point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean? It's just like things like that.
Instead of kicking low and getting blocked by some douchebag on the line,
Yeah, rookie mistake.
Oh, welcome back, Jones.
Chill out.
Welcome back. My bad. I thought you were still gone.
First off, all right, chill out. So, Mark made a good point earlier about that play, though. That they would have probably gone for it on that with the 6 seconds left.
They probably had 2 plays in them, too.
They might have done a really quick screen route, which probably would have been the smart play with the 6 seconds, maybe a screen and just
they had one
to the outside.
But see, with 6 seconds, though, it is a much different level of energy and coverage and that mindset of we got to make something happen now. That is, we may not make it happen because that's the thing with the end of the play, that game towards the end of overtime.
That's also my point that I've made this whole time about 3rd and 6, 3rd and 10, get a holding call, make it 3rd and 16, 3rd and 20.
Well, you made your extra point.
Made a whole different extra feel of energy, though. We don't have to worry about that extra point if those calls get made early on, because now it becomes Kansas City's down 3 or more, possibly more than that, and coverage is a whole different situation.
I encourage you at the end of overtime, though.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was a different energy because even if they didn't execute at the end of overtime, they were going to keep possession going into the next overtime.
Oh yeah, good. I thought you were going to say you didn't know the rules, the 49ers because their dumb coach doesn't know how to fucking get these.
Oh yeah, no, that is another thing. Apparently, a number of players have come forward saying that they didn't know the rules for overtime, and everybody knows it's different because hockey is a 5-minute overtime. Then you go to a shootout. But in the fucking
they didn't know. I mean, they didn't score a touchdown anyways. They kicked a field goal. Even if they scored a touchdown first, they didn't score a touchdown first. They kicked a field goal.
The biggest thing I didn't realize about the new playoff rules is I understood that they changed it after the Chiefs-Bills game the other year.
It's been like that for a couple of years now.
2 years. 2 seasons now.
Yeah, but I don't think there was an overtime game the prior
Doesn't
season,
matter.
was there? Or even this
Doesn't
time.
matter.
My only thing that I didn't know was they changed it to a 15-minute clock.
It was always 15. It was always 15 in the playoffs.
It was 10. It was 10.
Not in the playoffs.
Playoffs. And that's what I was getting to with hockey. Hockey is the same way. Hockey in regular season is a 5-minute overtime, then a shootout, because we ain't got time for that shit. But in the playoffs, it is a full 20-minute period. And it literally, you're playing a whole new quarter period every overtime. NFL has always been 15-minute quarters in overtime. It is another 15-minute period of play. No coin tosses every overtime. You do a coin toss at the start, and that is it. You play overtime. If the clock runs to 0, whoever's got possession, you switch sides just like a regular quarter. It is literally the same rules as regulation, except for the whole, if second possession scores and first possession doesn't, win by, scoring a safety, first possession, whatever the scoring shit is different. That's it. All of the other regulation, that's why they get 3 full timeouts. Regular season, overtime, you get 2. Overtime in the playoffs, you get 3 timeouts. It is a regular fucking quarter. The only thing is, I don't know if the timeouts would last into the next overtime quarter.
They would. I mean, it just depends what you have. But and shame on Kyle Juszczyk too. Okay, so what? Let's say you did know the rules. You're telling me you're going to kick the ball to Kansas City after your defense just got burnt, just got gassed at the end of the fourth quarter. You're going to put them back on the field to start the play where Mahomes is probably going to drive the field the faster play they did. You're going to sit there and tell me that's the strategy? Here's
the deal, though. You know what? I'm not putting the blame on the players, right? Because being in the military, all right, you look at your young soldiers, airmen, sailors, whatever, right? You expect them to know what the rules are. But what do? Every morning we got to go over ROEs for whatever the mission of the day is. You know what I mean? Like, the players are grown men, yes, and they should know the rules because they're getting paid to play. But at the same time, like, as a coach, you've got to come out and like, hey, guys, so we all understand what's going on. Like, especially, I mean, well before the game, but especially as you get. Say what?
The ref did a good job explaining the rules at the fucking coin toss. I'll tell you that right now. He explained that shit perfectly, as clear as day.
Captain did not do a good job coming back.
I mean, the fucking speakers are on. You can hear the referee in the goddamn stadium. Everyone in the stadium can hear the ref, including the players. I didn't realize you can't hear it from that level. I guess you can only hear it in the fucking upper deck of the Super Bowl. Damn, dude.
As a coach, like, as the leader of the team, you've still got to take that precaution and, like, I mean, that's a conversation as you're going into the playoffs, not the Super Bowl. Like, hey guys, wild card weekend's coming up, so overtime is run this way. Everybody knows, when you're doing your fucking your game prep, your meeting, and you got your PowerPoint up, and you're like, hey, so this is who we're playing. Slide. This is how the rules work in the playoffs. Slide. Should we go to overtime? These are the rules. Everybody got it? Any questions?
Guess who did that, Doc? Guess which team did that?
I'm guessing the Chiefs.
And they did it twice for Super Bowl week.
So, they did you know what I'm saying?
Too.
Somebody did it right.
Kansas City was practicing that shit in training camp.
I'm going to tell you right now, there won't be another football team that don't do it. There won't be another football team that don't do it. Because the other teams in the league are coming in now like, hey, in case we make it, man, that ain't going to be us. We ain't going to be the dumbass that don't know the rules when we go into the Super Bowl.
The game plan before the game even started that they would defer and go for 2.
You have to, and that is what leadership is.
But that's my point.
They knew that going into the game if they got the situation.
It's preparation. Again, going back to the military, when you go into a battle, you got fucking plans A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying?
But
you ain't just putting all your eggs in one basket.
If the Niners did say that they knew the rules, the captains knew the rules, you're telling me you're going to defer the ball after your defense just got gassed at the end of the game, after they just drove the field in literally less than 2 minutes. You're telling me you're going to put them back on first so that we can go get the ball and if they score a touchdown, we go get 2 points, that it would be dumb coaching, which that's Kyle Shanahan. So I guess that would fit maybe that dumb fucking egotistical mindset he has. So maybe that would have been the play. But Shanahan knew it because he told his captains what to do.
No, he wanted
because the coach tells you what to do.
Yeah, Shanahan wanted to. I think he just wanted to try to put the pressure on Mahomes. Like, I think he wanted to go down, score, and make Mahomes have to score. I think that's what his game plan was.
You give the defense a break too. You just got gas too. Like you give your defense a fresh, set of breath.
I was really shocked. I was really shocked that there was no. That's the biggest thing for me when you go into a full 15-minute quarter, and especially in overtime in the playoffs and the potential of running back-to-back quarters, is that there was no intermission of any kind other than the normal TV commercial break. I thought, because hockey in overtime for the playoffs, I believe they do the standard 15 or 20-minute intermission between periods because they run a full 30-minute period on skates, busting their ass. So I thought that's the only thing I was confused about with football. I was like, damn, I thought that they would have had some time to kind of chill out for, at least 5 minutes. They got 30 seconds.
For overtime.
No, for overtime. For overtime.
Well, I mean,
at least between the end of regulation and the start of overtime, and then every 2 minutes, a 10-minute halftime kind of thing. I
mean, they had a good 5-10 minute break because they went to timeout, then they did the coin toss, and then they went to another timeout. They had about a good 5-10 minute separation.
All right.
So the reason why the Niners chose to have the ball first was because they felt that they could get a stop, and had they got the stop, then they would have had the sudden death drive, right?
But that's not what the fullback said, though.
Goal to win it.
The fullback said we thought if we score first, we win the game.
And the ref, the ref said very distinctly, both teams will have an opportunity to possess no matter what the score outcome is.
Did, which is a dumb thing, but
I think it's just an excuse, in my opinion.
Like I said before, they made the holding call. We're not in overtime. But
if you execute
if you also hit your extra point, you're not in overtime.
If you execute your plays and you don't fumble the ball with Chris McCaffrey, you don't.
If you hit Juwan Jennings wide open in the end zone or right before the end zone. Yeah.
If Ayuk doesn't lose the ball in the air when he was open in the first half, by the way, that Brock Purdy actually did throw the ball good, but Ayuk didn't know where the fuck he was at. It looked like he was lost in space.
If you give the ball to CMC like he's the best running back in the game.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do too. Hey, Doc, there's another thing too. Don't play zone coverage against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time neither.
Shit, dude. You know what Patrick Mahomes is in a 2-minute drill, and you gave him 2 of them, and he fucking burned you.
But boys, great episode. We went a little longer because it's a Super Bowl. This is the fucking Super Bowl. We're here to talk about it. So Jones, we had to.
Thanks.
Usher,
Jones,
and by the way, Usher did great too. And Usher did great, by the way.
Y'all asked me to come on, so I came on. Hey, but to be fair, right when I'm reading right now, 2025 Super Bowl odds, favorites, Ravens at 850, Chiefs at 750, Niners at 500. I feel if the Niners bring back the team they have this year,
dude, I said it on paper, top to bottom. You guys are the best team in the league on paper.
I love the odds now, though.
The Ravens can be there. The Ravens can be there. They just need a QB1. They just have 3 RB1s, and they can't make up their mind what they want to do with them.
But the odds are going to change at their free agency in the draft.
Lamar Jackson had barely a better season this year than Tyrod Taylor had in 2015. Yet Lamar got MVP and Tyrod.
Lamar had a dog shit season statistically for a quarterback.
You know why? Because Lamar beat the hell out. No,
sir.
Well, he beat the hell. He beat the hell. You want to know why? Because he manhandled the Liners. He manhandled the Lions. He manhandled the Seahawks. He manhandled the Dolphins. The Lions won the NFC Championship.
You know what? This playoff game showed you what the game plan is for Lamar and the Ravens. Fucking force him to be a quarterback, and the Ravens will go 0-17.
Ravens picked off Brock Purdy 4 times. I mean, Lamar picked off Brock Purdy 4 times. Nah.
But look at Lamar had 250 plus. But he had 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a good game, isn't it? Is that not a good game?
It's easy.
Didn't Purdy also get hurt in that game?
He did. And Sam Darnold came in and threw a pick.
He got hurt when the game was already out of reach. He got hurt at the end.
No, I'm not arguing that. But when you talk about 250 yards and 2 touchdowns and shit, he played half a game. Because I'm pretty sure he got. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he got hurt kind of early. halfway through.
How many fourth quarters did Lamar sit this year, and how many games did he sit overall? Too? He sat a game, and he sat how many fourth quarters?
Probably like three, fourth quarters.
The Lions.
How many half a seasons? How many half a seasons did he quit on his team to wait to hold out for a fucking payday?
We're talking 2023, not 2022.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Just once.
No, we're talking about.
That was like a Jonathan Taylor injury, dude. Come on.
We're talking this year, though. We're not talking what happened 2 years ago and last year.
He sat against the Dolphins, who were playing like shit.
The Seahawks,
the Jaguars, who had an unhealthy Trevor
Lawrence,
even
the Lions.
He didn't sit against the Jaguars.
I'm gonna be honest. This season, a healthy Trevor Lawrence is not any better than an unhealthy Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor's not good this year.
I can argue that. Yeah.
I actually. So I remember when we talked before, and I talked about how I didn't think Trevor Lawrence was going to make it. And he was dog shit, and he actually started turning my mind around until this season, and I'm really glad I didn't say shit.
But
worst take of the season is me picking the Jags to win the Super Bowl.
But hey, congratulations! I see that. But congratulations! I see that shiny belt behind you. You finally got it delivered. Show that bad boy off. Put that on your shoulder, Luke. Show us how it looks.
That shit only took like fucking a month to get here.
Well, I mean,
congratulations, my dude.
Yeah.
Show that name too. Let me see that name on the side, that side plate. Let me see that name you got there.
Oh, she's on there.
She's on there. What is that?
I don't know if you can see that.
Justin F. your son. Jones, is your name on that belt anywhere? Hey, do you see Derek Jones' name on that belt anywhere?
It will be next year, baby. It will be next year.
I do see Mark Davis on here.
Oh yeah, I'm on there. Yeah,
I just want to say,
no name players next year.
I deserve to have like my name sharpied at least under your name because I gave you your only loss of the year.
My one loss.
I gave you your only loss. So like even if it's small, I'll take small. It could be like a fine point Sharpie and small, but I deserve like at least a doc written in like the corner or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like 1L-doc.
Yeah.
You know,
you torched me in one game.
Yeah, you know,
I'm gonna say.
Nobody thought it was gonna happen, so I get a little something in there.
I think Kittle put up like 50 points for you in that game or something like that.
I think it was
Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy in fantasy.
It might have been the CD game.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah,
it
Purdy fantasy.
One player put up like fucking 50 points.
Or no, not CD or what the fuck was his name? The Browns dude. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Njoku?
No.
Cooper. Mark Cooper. Yeah, it's really like 51
it might have been
points.
that one. Yeah, because I had them both. Both of them went off one game each.
But boys, this is the last true game that we're going to talk about for the NFL for a little while. I know we're going to have some off-season takes. Free agency's coming up. The combine's coming up. The draft's coming up. I know we're going to do some fun stuff off or, like trivia stuff that Chris wants to start incorporating. Yeah, me, Luke, and Chris will for sure. I know that. And then we're going to starting basketball and baseball talk. Doc, you'll be on the baseball episode and with Jake and myself. And then we're going to get Alan and myself and Jake, potentially you two. I know you said you might tune into that when you can for basketball talk. So we still have some stuff coming up. We still got other sports. We're going to start incorporating the other two balls. Those are the ball sack, the baseball right here and the basketball there. And then the long shaft is the football. We're done for that for a little while.
I'm really glad you just spelled that out. I mean, you could have just looked at the logo.
Yeah.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, but we just want to describe it.
I'll jump in on some more if you guys let me.
Yeah, we'll let you.
No, it was great to have you here, man. That was fun. Honestly, as I was coming down, and I told the wife, I was like, Mark said there's a special guest. I'm pretty sure it's Joan. This is going to get spicy. And she was like, oh, my God, I can't wait to listen to it. And honestly, it remained civil. And I'm not going to lie, I'm shocked because it was getting heated in the group chat. And that's the problem. I think we got it all out in the group chat. That's what I think happened.
I let a lot of shit out.
I did too. And I think we got everything out in the group chat. And then when we came to this, we were like, dude, we already talked about this. We didn't have that same energy. I think that was a problem.
Yeah, what we need to do is on show day, no more talking.
I feel like a lot of stuff happens a little more hostile when you're reading it over words versus saying it in person.
Well, it's that Key and Peele skit where they like to deliver because the text interpretation. Yeah. You ever see that skit? Like, if you haven't, look that shit up because that's primarily what happened there. But no, Mark's right. Like next time, we should have led with "Come on the show tonight."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I'm texting, I'm sitting there thinking, this guy's a fucking idiot. I'm going to rip into him. This guy's a moron.
You literally
And
called
I'm
me and
just-
was like, do you hear what this dumb motherfucker is saying? This guy is so goddamn stupid.
That's why he hung up on me and said, "Hey, I got to make a call."
No, I
Never responded
no.
back. I knew what he was doing
No,
immediately.
He called me, bro. He called me.
I was on my
This
lunch.
dumb piece of shit. You won't believe what this idiot is saying.
I was on the phone with
And I'm
Jones,
like,
and
bro.
I was going to see my daughter, so that's why I just got to the house to see her. So I got off the phone as soon as I pulled in the driveway. But no, yeah. And then you start texting back, and then Doc, I saw bubbles pop up, and I was like, "Oh, let me fucking call Doc." real
Oh,
quick.
dude, I had to jump in that. I had to jump, dude. He was like, he called me and like buried the lead, and then was like, "Oh, by the way, I saw the bubbles. What was you gonna say?" I was like, "It's coming, dude." I was in the middle of typing this shit. You called, I had to answer. It's coming. Yeah, no, I started reading the shit. I was in the car going to pick up my kid from daycare, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't." Tag me in. Coming off the top rope.
No,
But don't
But
worry.
no,
Anytime
seriously.
I'm back in here, there will be many references back to this.
Every
Whether it's random life references, I'll make references.
I'm
as time.
gonna be honest. Everything, even life, right? Like you get a speeding ticket from a cop, and you better blame the fucking refs.
Hey, you know
Like,
what? Fuck it, I will.
You better Photoshop, like get a picture and Photoshop you like with like the cop at your window and like a ref standing behind you with a radar gun and like sharpieing over the number and writing something else in,
Dude,
like
so
moving
my-
a spot on the ball.
My boss is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and when he sits there and says something, I'll be like, "Hey, don't hold back. Don't hold like a Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah.
O-lineman."
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let I'm gonna let shit loose. Like I don't care.
No, I would
My
get real
jabs
fucking
here
petty.
and
I would get real petty. I'm not gonna. So I got so petty. That double doink game, Pearson called me like immediately after the game, and just immediately started talking shit. And I hung up and like blocked him on everything, phone, social media,
God damn, dude.
like flat out. Like the dude is a Pittsburgh fan, first of all, not even an Eagles fan, right? Like if you call me as an Eagles fan, that's one thing. This guy called just to fucking piss me off, and I just erased him from my life.
I can't judge people because my teams are all over the place. But being from Boston, I don't know how he's not a Patriots fan. He's a Boston everything else. I don't get how he was not a Patriots fan, especially in the era where he grew up. The Patriots were dominating. Like you chose the wrong time to be a Steelers fan. But no, Pearson's a good guy. He's fucking funny, dude. He plays in all our leagues too.
No, we're good
Pick
now.
ones.
No, we're back on all the social medias. We're good now. We actually just talked not too long ago because he's having another kid, I think.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
So
Shout out to you, Pearson.
Yeah,
But no,
shout out
boys,
to you, brother.
great football season this year. Like I said, Jones, you wanted to join it. The very end, Chris and Alan and Jake, they joined. Oh, Chris is one of the heartbeats of the OG crew with me, you, and or me, Doc, Luke, and Chris. So he's one of the OGs. But no, great season, boys. You know, we're gonna be live. Hey, potential live stream. We're gonna have some special guests on YouTube for the draft, first round of the draft. You don't have to be there. I'm going to be there the whole time, but we're going to have Rizlove might join in, Chris Allen, Derek Jones, Luke Rule, Alan Tomasella. Yeah, we're going to have to give a brief. We're going to have to do, hey, I'll be a coach. You players aren't my 49er players. You guys are not the 49ers. I will make sure you guys know the game plan. You know the rules, what to say.
I didn't know the rules for rounds 2 through 7.
Well, now
Coach
you know
went over the shit.
Picks 1 through 32, you'll know every single rule.
I'm not going to be like a KCO lineman, man. I'm not going to hold anything back, bro. I'm just going to let it all go. I'm going to just
And finally,
the
Niners
right way.
have
Do it the right way.
And finally, the Niners have a first-round pick after that stupid trade they made for Trey Lance. But hey, this is All About the Balls podcast. That's Luke Rule. That's Nick the Doc Skirkwins. That's Derek Jones. Love you, Chris. Love you, Jake. Love you, Alan. I'm Mark Davis, and this is All About the Balls podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Sack House.